Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Earth Body Oracle. I'm your host, Elena Wolfbrandt-Michels, and I'm here to share intuitive insights and tarot readings, oracle readings, really here to share insights on spiritual growth and what's happening in the world right now. I normally record these as audios, so this is my first video, or maybe my second video. I haven't done one in a really long time. And I do find it totally weird and awkward to be recording video. So just so you know that if today is a bit stilted, it's just because I'm like, I couldn't find the right place in my house, like my husband's poster behind me. We'll get there. But it felt important just to start to be on more channels and to start posting like this. So here we are. What I want to talk about today is this great big new energy that's coming into play on February 17th, February 20th, in April again. I mean, this year is huge. Astrologers have been saying this year is huge since 2020. And now, then you can be like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. And what we're having now in 2026 is even more of a ramping up. February 17th, this solar eclipse, I believe, partial solar eclipse in Aquarius, this is the one that is really quickening things, right? Like if you are pagan, if you're interested in solstice and marking the seasons and really understanding Earth cycles, a lot of us talk about Bridget or Imbolc, February 1st, as the quickening, like things getting ready underground, like things starting to stir. Winter, it's still winter on the surface, and yet there's all this burgeoning, these plants that are they're really like doing all their things underground, and then they're gonna pop for spring. This eclipse is springtime. It's springtime before springtime, right? It is a moment where everything is going to start to unravel, where we're going to be shown a lot of new things on the world stage that are really going to influence our idea of what power is. They're going to destabilize us and show us that putting faith in a select few on a world stage to control us is not actually good for us. There's going to be a lot coming to light that is really disturbing and scary, to be honest. It's up to us how we react to that information. And even the word react, it's like, how do we respond actually to that information? How do we make sure that instead of really hyper-focusing on it, because it will be hard to deal with, how do we move the focus to what we want to create? Move the focus to the Magician card in the tarot, which is the channel. I'm connected to the earth. I'm connected to spirit. I am connected. I'm not looking out there for someone to take care of me. I am connected. This happens from me and from my community. So this eclipse is going to mark the change from this year of the wood snake that we've been in and move us to the year of the fire horse. And even if you just think of your ideas of what is a snake, what does a snake do? Well, a snake is a lot like the 8th house of in astrology. It is death. It is rebirth. When you are a snake shedding, if you've ever seen it happen, it does not look fun. You go into kind of a state of almost hibernation, glassy-eyed, and then you are slowly like trying to wriggle out of this too tight skin. It's a deep year for transformation that we've all been in. It's a deep year of questioning identity, moving from one identity to another, perhaps. It's a deep year of looking at the things that limit us and really moving away from them. For me, it's been a big year of just being showed how negative my thoughts can be and being asked over and over and over and over again by the universe, to focus on more positive things, to reframe the way that I'm thinking. There's been a lot more that's happened for me this year that I could go on and on about, but I would invite you just to think about what this year, what did you uncover this year in the depths of your psyche, in the depths of your childhood, in the depths of your life, and how did you start to transform it? And what is the theme that's up for you right now? Because we are in like the last gasps, and it could be that it has come up in like a huge way for you to examine right now. Just after that, we have the Saturn and Neptune conjunction in Aries at 0 degrees Aries. That hasn't happened in hundreds of years. And anything that's happening at 0 degrees, especially a conjunction of two planets at 0 degrees Aries, that is the first breath of life. That is God making sound. That is the first moment of creation. So we're coming into this new cycle of Aries energy, which is beautiful because we had Saturn moving out of Pisces just a couple days ago. Neptune moving out of Pisces either already happened or happens in a couple days. So we're already starting to really feel the energy. Brand new. What world do you want to create anew? What are you putting your energy to? At the same time that we are putting our energy into this new creation, the old world is going to call for our attention, especially because it's going to crumble and things are going to break. Things are going to disintegrate, and we are going to need to be focused on what is our contribution to a more beautiful world. What is it we're here for? What is it we stand for the good of all beings? For me, it's doing these intuitive readings. It's helping people come to a more spiritual understanding. It's helping people move towards values of love and unity and liberation and compassion and integrity. It's helping people become more whole unto themselves so that they don't need external structures to tell them who they are or what to do. What is it for you? What is your why? What is like on a soul level why you're here and what you're helping with? And that can be someone who's tending the land, who's here to tend the earth and bring the earth back to permaculture, bring the earth back to something beautiful. It can be someone who's a community organizer and wants to bring people off of their screens and into real life and togetherness. It can be someone who's raising one child or 5 children and raising them with beautiful values. Like, what is it for you that you are bringing forward into this new earth? We will be pulled very strongly to look at the crumbling, and it's a very hard edge for me to play personally, because I have to really work on my boundaries and my nervous system and not being just pulled under and taken over when I'm reading these really bad things that are happening, right? And we all have a definition of like the really bad things, but this surpasses right and left or anything political. This is more on a spiritual level of right and wrong that's like really apparent. And it will become more and more apparent. If it's still political for you, if it's still like us versus them, I urge you to try to look at open up, contemplate. Is there something deeper going on? And you will, in these next few months, really get a invitation. It's a funny word for it. An invitation to look at the horrors of the world. What do we do with that? How do we make sure it's like, okay, like I'm seeing it, I'm not denying it. And I am also doing everything in my power to come back to my own creation and my own family, my own goodness, and looking around at everything around me and my own home and then the beauty that I've created. It's really about having your sanctuary space and coming back to center. when these global and world events are horrific or really hard to be with or hard to even fully grok or understand. Yeah, there's so much potential this year for newness, and for us to plant our own seeds. And it's really coming up quick here in these next, 5 days, 6 days. We're really being asked this question of what are you bringing? What is your contribution to the world, to a better world? So let's take a look at the energy through the cards here. I'm going to use, actually, I think I want to use the Goddess Oracle. This is a really beautiful deck. Let's see if I can put it here for you. The Goddess Oracle. This is by Amy Sophia Marashinsky. My husband got me this deck for Christmas, and I've been using it nonstop. It's funny because I can be very like, oh, goddess, love and light. When women call themselves goddesses, I can really have a great big eye roll, which is probably one of my own projections to look at. And also it's been used, been co-opted by the spiritual community to mean I have a white dress, and I have a flower crown on, and yeah, it's not always the best look, but this deck is truly about goddess, truly about the goddess archetype, truly about women and their power, truly about the feminine and its power, whether you're a woman or not. So let's take a look. I would love to draw a card here for, slow down if I get the right question here. What is a resource for us? Show us a goddess who is a resource for us as we enter into this new era that is being ushered in by Saturn, Neptune, 0 degrees Aries. In 1 second, sometimes the cards are sticky. Okay. The goddess Sophia, who is wisdom. And I'm going to read to you from the deck, but also just looking at her, holding this. She's just surrounded by good. And I'm saying good is good versus evil. It's really remembering our innate goodness at this time. That even if we do things that are, I'm going to make it real black and white here, but even if we do things that are quote unquote bad, that, we screw up and we fail, or we yell at our kid, or we say something stupid, or we're gossipy or judgmental, or we're not nice towards ourselves, whatever your version is, and you could have all of them. Why not? We all do. We all have these versions. Even through that, just remembering your innate goodness. You're a child of God, if that resonates with you. You're a child of the universe. You're a child. There's a part of you that's always going to remain innocent, even if you've done bad things. And this card really asks you to see that. You can always identify with that good, the goodness in yourself, instead of some kind of worry that maybe you did this one thing or that thing, and that makes you bad. Let me read the poem, because the poems in these are just beautiful, the poems that she's channeled for each goddess. So Sophia in my understanding, is the female version of God, if we have Jesus, as we think of the male version of God, but the Sophia, people pray to the Sophia. It's the feminine essence of God. So this poem is: from the moment you enter till the time you surrender to death, all that you experience directly for yourself, all the burnt fingers to discover the fire is hot, all the falling flat when your reach exceeds your grasp, all of the explorations of territory known and unknown, all these pathways to me. Seek to know, and you are me. Stretch to become, and you are me. The feminine quests for wisdom. The feminine is part of all women. All women are the goddess. All women have wisdom. All women are Sophia. This is really a card for when you need guidance. Take time to listen to your own inner connection. Exactly what I've been talking about, right? It's exactly what I've been saying in terms of when the external world is calling and when the external world is bringing a lot, how do we come back to our center, our innate goodness, our inner knowing? Intuition takes time to develop. It takes different practices. It takes self-trust, and that can sometimes take a long time to develop too. It takes moving away blocks that we have to trust in divinity, to trust in goodness, that's even a thing. But this card is asking you to really look within. So whenever you find yourself looking externally for the answer, that's your invitation to stop and look within. Even when it comes to, the things that are hot topics in the news right now, like the Epstein files or ICE, all these different things, we have a habit of, because of the way social media works, of just like glomming on like all of this information, post after post after post after post of a viewpoint either that validates ours, right? Or that adds to ours and adds fuel to the fire. And it's saying like, it's okay to have information. It's okay to know this person was shot. It's okay to know this person is in the files. And then from there, you'll have to gauge like your specific bandwidth for knowing more about what's happening in any of those spheres. I'm just naming two of the big ones right now, and I'm sure, all over the world, there's all sorts of different versions of all these different things of, just big news stories where there's all kind of fractals and people are being told different things and it gets really chaotic and messy and confusing. It's okay to know, like at a seed level, what's going on. And then there's the like backing way the F up, right? There's there's just like, for me, I always think it's my Gemini moon, but I think it's also just a natural human inclination for me. I'm like, ooh, what's the hot gossip? And then you tell me the hot gossip and I'm just like, oh no, like, why did I dig that deep? Because I actually do not have the capacity to hold this. No one has the capacity to hold these huge things. We just simply don't. We weren't made that way. And then when you're piling a bunch of it on top of you and your nervous system is just frazzled, of course it's frazzled. Like it has nowhere else to be, nowhere else to go. We weren't made to metabolize all of this information. And then we layer on top of that all these ideas of, what we're supposed to do and who we're supposed to, like how we're supposed to be a good person in response to this. Maybe I'm supposed to post about it too. Maybe I'm supposed to go to a protest, and am I doing that? Like, what's my real motivation for that actually? What if I took all of that energy that I'm feeding into the old system and I turned it around and I fed it into what I want to create and what I want to become? And I would be remiss not to mention Pam Gregory in this podcast of mine, because I watched one of her podcasts last night and this feels very similar to me. I mean, a lot of people are downloading this information, and I'm very much drawing on her wisdom around the transit, as well as Laura Matus, I think is how you pronounce her last name. She's talked a lot about how this new Aries energy is moving away from martyrdom and really focusing on how oppressed we all are, and all the things that oppress us, and the power structures that oppress us, and the identities that oppress us, and like on and on and on. And instead we're moving to the hero and the heroine archetype. Instead of martyr, we're moving to like, I got this, I can do this. And when I say I got this, I can do this, I really don't want to push like an individualist understanding to it, because that's not it either. It's not about I need to do this alone. It's not about self-reliance in any way, actually. It's about, if possible, and it feels hard these days, but gathering up the people who are close. We're all so fragmented. People have a hard time trusting. People have a hard time organizing anything outside of, it feels like, something that's online, right? My husband the other day asked on Reddit, like, can someone give me their favorite progressive heavy metal band or something like this? And the amount of responses that he got in 10 minutes, it's like crazy, like hundreds of responses. People are so quick right now. And it's also like, it's a very low stakes. This is my favorite band, and here, you have it. We have a lot harder of a time like meeting in community and organizing around ideas and ideals. And I think that's what the world needs right now. And instead of even organizing it around an ideal, like pushing against an oppressor, what about organizing around an ideal of creating something, not reacting to something, but creating a better world, of thinking of new ways that we can be with one another. Okay, I think that's all that wants to be said for now. Thanks for being with me on this first video podcast. Of course, you can listen to the audio or you can watch the video. It works either way. But thank you so much for being here. You can like and please subscribe, and you can get a personalized reading with me if you visit my website, which is at earthbodyoracle.com. I really love connecting people with wisdom from the beyond. I don't give predictive readings. It's not like what's going to happen if, but it's what is the energy around this thing, and what are the blocks around this. And a lot of times my readings really speak to the root cause of what's happening instead of something surfacey. They tend to be a little bit deeper, because that's what I'm most keen on bringing through, and the guides that I tend to connect to. Not afraid of, to look into the shadow to see what deep work really needs to be done to move towards, these beautiful things that we all want in our lives. So if you want to reach out, you can find me there, earthbodyoracle.com. And thank you so much. Until next time.